Hi all, it's Karen and
Pluto!
here for Karen and Bluto's on another review channel with another movie review. This
Also,
one, we're actually re-recording.
yeah.
It didn't, the audio and the video weren't lining up for some odd reason, so
Overwatch this time.
we're back again on it. So, and I did not grab the movie. We're reviewing Rayman. This was a movie that Marty and friends sent to us. I apologize. I should have grabbed it before we sat down, but I wasn't planning on having to redo this until I went to edit it, and it didn't record right.
That's why we're doing it again.
So,
We care.
yeah. So Rayman was released in 1988. It won like 4 awards. I can't remember, like Best Picture, stories. I can't remember the other two, unfortunately, because I don't have the movie sitting here in front of me. It's rated R. It is 2 hours and 13 minutes, but it does not seem that long. So basically, we started at the beginning. There's like this montage with all these sports cars being loaded off these boats. And there's this Tom Cruise's character, whose name we find out is Charlie, who works for these Bobby's Collectibles. He's stuck with these 4, I can't remember what kind of sports car they are. They're Lamborghinis or something.
Do you have a Ferrari like you?
No Ferraris. But he's stuck with these 4 cars that they can't get to pass the EPA.
What's that?
Environmental Protection Agency, I believe.
Oh, like on Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So he's trying to like negotiate to get this done. Otherwise, he's going to be stuck with these cars and out like a buco bucks. So his girlfriend, Susanna, also works there, and they're leaving to go to Palm Springs for a vacation. While they're driving, Charlie gets a call that his father died. So, and the funeral is the next day, so he has to leave and travel to Cincinnati.
That's quick.
Yeah. So, basically, Charlie and his father had a falling out many years ago, so he hasn't really seen his father or anything, so
This is a sad movie, huh?
That part's a little sad. It has its moments. So they're at the funeral. There's not too many people there, and Charlie's like standing away from everybody. He's just kind of there. So somebody comes and talks to him about going over the details of his father's will. So he kind of, Susanna had gone with him, so he's kind of talking about why their relationship was strained. And basically what it was, his dad had this classic car that he wanted to drive. He busted butt to get good grades at school, and his dad was like, no, you still can't drive it. Well, he basically took it without permission. Him and his friends went out cruising. His dad basically called the police and said the car was stolen. And even though his other friends got bailed out of jail, Charlie's dad left him in jail for the night. So
he should have took the car.
Yeah. The other thing to mention is Charlie's mom died when he was 2. So it's been basically him and his dad the whole time.
Wow.
So
very depressing movie.
At the beginning. So basically what happens is the lawyer's going over the will. Charlie basically gets the car, which he kind of figured, but the rest of it, the estate was being placed in a trust for a beneficiary to be named later. Well, Charlie gets kind of pissed off about this because he's like, I'm entitled to this. Who the hell is this random person that's getting like $3 million? He's basically like, it's mine. I'm an only child.
His pops died and he's worried about money and cars.
Yeah, basically. So like I said, Tom Cruise is a little bit of an asshole in the beginning of this movie.
So he's playing himself?
Yeah, to an extent.
Okay.
So eventually see, you said Tom Cruise playing himself. Charlie is asking around regarding trying to find out who his beneficiary is. So he ends up going to this, I don't want to say mental asylum, but it's like a group home type situation.
What's the difference?
And you know, he's talking to the one doctor there. The doctor's like, your father asked me to take care of this. I can't tell you anything. And Charlie's like, fine, give me my half and I'll go. And the doctor's like, no. Well, he comes back out to the car, and Dustin Hoffman's character, who plays Rayman, is sitting in the car talking to Suzanne. He's talking on and on about the car. And Charlie's like, who is this person? And Suzanne's like, I don't know. He just got in the car. I've been trying to get him out. And he's going on about how his dad used to let him drive it on the driveway, and he was a really good driver. And Charlie looks at him and goes, who's your father? And he says their dad's name. I don't remember. So Charlie basically finds out that he has a brother he never knew about. So he gets a little upset about that, like, why didn't anybody ever tell me I have a brother? And that's who the beneficiary was of the estates. So, and it turns out Raymond has a higher functioning form of autism. Which I don't know how much it would have been known back in '88. I mean, I know a little bit more about it now from working in social services for almost 20 years.
Wow.
But yeah, I'm getting old.
Here you are.
No, I have been working in it. No, it'll be 20 years in November. Sorry, guys. But basically, the big thing is like Charlie's trying to get to know Raymond, like they're in his room. If you know anything about autism, like certain people have like rituals or routines or other certain things they do. And I feel Dustin Hoffman did an excellent portrayal in this movie of that. And I mean, like I said, not that it's not the way he did is typical for everyone, but he did display some of the known characteristics with autism. And it's not the same for everybody, basically, as well. But
So you get education watching
yeah.
this too.
So, like I said, he did a wonderful job in his portrayal of this, which I was amazed with it. But they're going on, and he's saying he's been there since he was like either 18 or 20. And Charlie's still like, why wasn't I told what's going on? Well, the other thing, because Charlie's in his room and he starts moving stuff, and Raymond starts getting nervous. Well, anytime he's nervous, he does the Abbott and Costello's Who's on First routine.
That's
He
funny.
just recites it.
Do you know it?
I know part of it, but I don't know it enough. But that's another feature of autism. Like sometimes they have this memory where they hear something, they just repeat it over and over again. So Charlie takes Raymond for a walk, and he's basically like, oh, okay, let's go on a trip.
Like a dog.
Yeah, so they go. Charlie basically takes Raymond away from the home he's staying at.
Here, Raymond. Here, boy.
You're so rotten.
Sorry.
So Raymond keeps saying about not leaving campus, and Charlie's like, oh, no, it's fine, it's fine. He's saying, the doctor said we need to spend some time together and everything. His girlfriend's still with him, and she's like, you sure this is okay? And he's like, yeah, it's fine. Basically, he's planning on holding Raymond until he gets his half of the estate is what it comes down to. So they end up getting to a hotel. And Raymond's, on his routine. He's like, the bed's not by the window. This isn't my bed. He's going on the routine. I need to see Judge Wapner at 4 o'clock. He has a very regimented routine.
I don't like staying in hotels either.
So
they're messy.
Basically, they try to get him situated enough, and they're like, what do you want for dinner? And he's like, oh, it's Sunday, it's meatloaf or whatever. Like he has to have like the routine of the meals throughout the day as well.
Like me.
Yeah. So
they eventually
yeah. So they get him situated, and then everyone's supposed to be going to bed. Charlie basically gives Raymond the phone book to read because he's saying about needing something to read. So Raymond is still up, and Charlie and Susanna are basically having sex in the other room, and Raymond hears them. So he starts imitating the noises she's making, and he walks into the room, and then
what kind of noises?
Not going there. You guys figure it out. Well, eventually he goes in and sits on the bed as she climaxes, and she's like, Raymond's in here. And Charlie's like, Raymond, get out! Start yelling. And Raymond's like, uh-oh. Like he does that throughout the movie. So Susanna kind of gets mad at him for the way he's being and basically leaves Charlie and Raymond alone. And a couple of you guys said about the shirtless scene with Tom Cruise. Did nothing for me. Nothing. My ovary didn't pop, so it was kind of like a big letdown. But anyways.
Yep. I totally agree with you.
So basically, like, Charlie is just not being very nice to Raymond at all. If we go to the next day, they're in a restaurant getting breakfast. Raymond's kind of rocking back and forth, which some of people will do as a soothing.
He likes to rock.
Not that kind of rock. So the waitress comes over, and he looks at her name and rattles off her phone number. And Charlie's like, how did you know that? He goes, he memorized the phone book almost through the letter G.
Was it a 555 number?
No, actually it wasn't. Wow. I didn't write it down, but it wasn't a 555 number. So Charlie's saying about needing toothpicks. So he has, not Charlie, Raymond's saying about needing toothpicks. Charlie asks the waitress about getting him toothpicks. And he goes and phones the doctor. The doctor is encouraging him to bring Raymond back. But Raymond's not like committed there, so he's free to come and go. So it's like technically they can't report him because it's not kidnapping. But Charlie's just basically like, give me my half and I will bring him back. Otherwise, I'm going to take him home to LA and I'm going to put him in an institute out there. So then they're arguing. Charlie goes, fine, I'll see you in court. Hangs up. So Raymond's still trying to get his toothpicks and the waitress accidentally drops them on the floor. And I think everybody kind of knows this scene. Even if you haven't seen the movie, I apologize. Pluto's fur is going up my nose again.
Oh, sorry. You didn't brush me yet.
Yeah. And he says about how there's 400 and something on the floor. And the waitress looks in the box and she's like, he's right. And Charlie's looking like, what? How did you... He's like, whatever, they leave. So the game plan is they go to the airport. They're planning on flying back to LA because Charlie needs to get back and take care of that deal regarding the cars and everything. And he needs to get back immediately. So they go to get on the plane. Raymond starts saying about all the different airlines and the crashes and fatalities and everything. And Raymond's like, no, Charlie's like, I don't care. You're getting on the plane. Well, he tries to force Raymond to go, and Raymond has a total meltdown.
I know about crashing.
Yeah. We know you would know about crashing.
So he's pretty good at that.
Yeah.
He knows.
So Charlie's like, fine, we'll drive to LA. So they're driving, and there's a car accident on the road. Raymond kind of freaks out. He gets out of the car. He's saying about the road not being safe. So, excuse me, guys. Charlie has to basically come up with a way to get Raymond back in the car, and it's Raymond walking in front of the car while Charlie's driving it slow until they get off the interstate. Then Raymond will get back in the car. Excuse me 1 second, guys.
What are you doing?
I have a major tickle in my throat.
There you go. Maybe we'll get some money for that.
Yeah. So eventually they end up getting to another hotel. And and he's going on, Raymond's still going on and on about his routine, about, what he needs to eat, watch TV. Well, then they go to leave and it's raining and Raymond won't go out in the rain. So they're like stranded for a couple days till the rain passes. But you don't like the rain either?
No, I get too wet. My fur's all wishy and fishy.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a good situation, huh?
Nope.
Eventually they're getting back on the road. Raymond keeps going on about being an excellent driver, and Charlie's like, yeah, whatever, maybe you could drive someday. Well, Raymond grabs the wheel while Charlie's driving and almost wrecks the car, and Charlie kind of loses it. And then we go to the underwear conversation, which I'm sure people know, even though they haven't seen this, and Raymond's going on and on about the underwear needing to be from this boxers from this specific Kmart. He's given the address, and Charlie's like, I gave you a pair of mine, and for some reason, Raymond didn't put them on. So,
I want to wear somebody else's underwear.
Charlie basically says about autism being a bunch of bull, and long and short of it. And then eventually Raymond takes the underwear out, Charlie throws them out, and Raymond's like, uh-oh, like the uh-oh again, you lost your underwear or something. So they end up stopping at a small town. Charlie tells Raymond to stay in the car. He's going to go make a phone call. So they're using payphones throughout this movie, which is funny. There are some car phones, but that was kind of like the early days of it. So while Charlie's on the phone, Raymond gets out of the car and starts walking. So Charlie gets in panic when he can't find him.
Charlie, where are you?
And eventually we go to Raymond. He's walking on this crosswalk, and all of a sudden he's not all the way across, and it says, do not walk. So he literally stops walking in the middle of the crosswalk. Oh. And he's standing in front of these cars, and they're like laying on the phone, laying on the horn, like, get out of the way. So Charlie eventually gets there. Now I'm all confused. Damn computer.
Me too.
Basically, Charlie finds Raymond. He apologizes. They get him off the road. He takes him. Really?
Sorry.
Takes him to a local doctor's office there.
Peanut butter.
To determine, if he really has autism or not. And the doctor says, yeah, he has a very high level of functioning and, of autism. Well, Charlie's like, well, he's really, really good with numbers. So the doctor's putting all these different equation stuff into the calculator and asking Raymond what they are, and he's getting them correct. But then he asks him, like, Raymond, how much is a candy bar? And Raymond's like, oh, like $100. The doctor's like, okay, well, how much is the new car? And he goes, oh, about $100. So the doctor's like, yeah, he's good with numbers, but he's not good with money, which that is some characteristics of
I'll take a new car for $100.
Yeah. So Charlie's kind of like, okay, maybe doing this a little bit more. Well, they show him later in another phone booth. Raymond's in there with him while Charlie's trying to call, finding out too the deal's falling through and everything. Raymond all of a sudden goes, uh-oh, and he's trying to get out. Here he farted in the phone booth. So eventually they get out, and Raymond's going on about, oh, I need to find Judge Wapner at 11 o'clock, People's Court, and all that. So Charlie goes and tries to find a TV, finds this random farmhouse with this family, and they sit there and watch TV so Charlie doesn't have a meltdown.
Random farmhouse with a family. Chainsaw Massacre.
So,
next.
We go to another scene. I think I forgot to mention this in the other review, but they're at another hotel, and Raymond's discussing how he remembers the day their mother died and the day he left. And I guess he used to sing to Charlie, but there was something about their father put Raymond away because they were afraid he was going to hurt Charlie. Because I guess, because it's showing them in the bathroom, and Charlie's trying to get a bath ready for Raymond, and he was saying he's freaked out, and he was like, too hot, too hot. So I don't know if what I'm gathering from it, and like I said, I want to watch this again because it's the first time I watched it. I'm kind of thinking he was trying to help bathe Charlie and might have almost burned him, so that's why he ended up at the home he was in.
Wow.
And here Charlie kind of vaguely remembers this, and he kind of pieces together, so it's kind of at this point he starts becoming a little more sympathetic to the situation. Anyway, so they're going... They continue to go. I guess Charlie stops and buys a portable TV for Raymond so they don't have to stop anywhere to watch the TV.
That'd be fun.
And they're at a laundromat cleaning clothes, and Raymond's watching the dryer instead of the TV. So he gets kind of bent out. Charlie's like, I bought you this $200 TV and you're watching the dryer.
That made me dizzy.
Well, he was enjoying it. So anyways, Charlie calls back to where he works, finds out everybody backed out of the deal, and they're out $80,000 with these cars. So Charlie's got to figure out how to come up with this money.
Wow.
So they end up driving through Vegas and staying at a place outside of Vegas. And they're sitting in this restaurant, and they have like these little jukebox things on there where they have the different songs listed, I guess, that you can pick from your table to hear.
I remember them.
And Raymond was going through looking at them, and basically Charlie's rattling off numbers, and Raymond's giving the songs, or vice versa. So Charlie gets this bright idea and teaches Raymond how to count cards and reviews the rules of cards. Like if it's a certain thing, you hit. If not, you stay. All that.
Smart.
So basically, they go
I wish I could do that.
Yeah, that's very, very bad to do in Vegas. You can get in a lot of trouble. So basically, they go get makeovers, and they go in to play cards. While they're playing, they're getting all this money. The crowds are gathering, which brings to the attention of the casino staff.
Somebody figured out our secret.
Yeah, but they're like clueless and going on and on. So basically, then they end up winning $86,500 or something like that. And Charlie had sold his watch to get the clothes and get some money, so they're ahead like $2,000 or something by the time everything's said and done with the $80,000 for the cars and buying his watch back and everything else. And they end up getting like comped on a few things. But Charlie and Raymond are sitting in a bar, and this what are you doing?
I'm scratching my nose.
Charlie and Raymond are sitting at the bar, and Charlie gets up for a second, and this woman, Iris, comes over, which she's a prostitute, and she's kind of talking to Raymond, and he's, saying stuff, and Charlie's trying to interfere, and she's like, well, I'll do this now, and he's like, no. Well, then Charlie walks away, and Raymond discloses that they were counting cards to this person. So I don't know if she goes and reports them or whatnot. But they eventually go up to their hotel room, which ends up being comped for them because of all the money they won. And Raymond's going on about how he has this date with Iris, even though she basically was like, no, stay away from me. So he's saying about he needs to learn how to dance. So Charlie tries to teaches them how to dance. And it's kind of a very nice moment. But Charlie goes to hug Raymond afterwards, and Raymond kind of has a little bit of a meltdown, which upsets Charlie because he goes, I'm just trying to show you I love you, but Raymond does not grasp all that. And then in the middle of all this, Susanna shows up, And Charlie's like, what are you doing here? She goes, well, I'm kind of unemployed. So they're going down to the bar for Raymond's date. And when they get off the elevator, security comes over and they're like, the head of security would like to speak with you. So Charlie tells Susanna to stay with Raymond. He's going to go take care of this. And basically when he goes to security, they don't say, well, we know you were counting cards. They basically advise him to take his winnings and leave.
Hey, I leave with that much money.
I wouldn't have even stayed for the night in a comped room. I would have been out the door.
Maybe stay for the prostitute.
So basically, Iris does not show up. So Susanna takes Raymond, gets back in the elevator. Well, she stops the elevator. They dance. And she was saying something about being kissed or him being kissed. And he goes, no. So she kisses him. And he's like, oh, that was wet. It was just so funny. So anyways, next morning.
No comment.
They're leaving the hotel, but they let Raymond drive around the driveway in the front. Well, Charlie has his hand on the wheel, kind of trying to help steer it, but Raymond's like driving over the curb and everything.
That's how you drive.
Not all the time. At least I don't crash.
I only crashed like 7 times. Or 10. I forget how many.
15.
No, not that many.
Okay. So anyways, they eventually get to LA. They drop Susanna off. Charlie takes Raymond back to his place. It's basically like, hey, you're going to be staying here. Tries to get him comfortable and situated. Well, eventually the doctor from back in Cincinnati calls Charlie to meet with him. And he basically gives Charlie a check for $250,000 and basically tells Charlie that no matter what happens, he'll be in control of the money either way. Charlie won't get his hands on it.
Wow.
And Charlie basically turns down the money and says, no, we'll be in court. And he still kind of discussed why he was never told he had a brother. I mean, I think that's the one thing, like, it's like he was upset, but then at the same time, he was like, why was he never told? Why didn't anybody let him try to develop a relationship with him? And so on. Are you burping again? I heard you.
I'll try to do it quietly.
So, anyways, he basically tells the doctor he'll see them in court. That's where it leaves off.
Judge Wapner.
Yeah, that's maybe what Raymond was hoping for. Anyways, it goes like later, Raymond's trying to make something in like the toaster oven. He ends up setting off the fire alarm. Charlie wakes up trying to help things, and Raymond basically starts having a meltdown. He's banging his head off of things, and I think at this point, Charlie's kind of realizing he might be in over his head as far as meeting Raymond's needs. So they go out to breakfast, and then they go to the courthouse, and I think they kind of meet with a mediator. I think they address him as doctor as well.
What's a mediator?
That's kind of like somebody you kind of meet with to kind of see if you can work things out without having to go to court.
Oh.
They'll do that in a lot of like divorce proceedings or child custody, just see if an agreement can be worked out without having to go before a judge and having the judge make the decision.
Okay, I'm sorry. I thought that had to do with the weather.
No. But basically the mediator or whatever he is asking Raymond about what happened the past week, and Raymond's telling him about the kiss with Susanna, the counting cars, all that stuff. And then
he's like counting cars.
Counting cards.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just hearing you wrong.
Oh, Raymond likes to take a lot of pictures throughout. I forgot to mention that.
Cool.
Anyways, Charlie's kind of going on that he feels like he's made a connection with Raymond. They understand each other. But the other doctor from Cincinnati is like, I explained to you, Charlie, that Raymond doesn't understand relationships. He doesn't understand love and all that. And he was saying, too, about Raymond not being able to decipher things. Like the mediator asked him if that was a little bit of a slip up. The mediator asked Raymond, like, well, do you want to stay with your brother Charlie? And he's like, yes. And then he asked him, do you want to go back with Dr. whatever his name is, Cincinnati? He kept saying yes, or he says, I don't know. So basically, that's kind of where it kind of goes to black. And then we go to the Charlie taking Raymond to the train station to meet the doctor that he's going to go back to Cincinnati. The doctor asks Raymond if he's happy to be back in his Kmart clothes. And Charlie goes, tell him what I taught you. And Raymond goes, Kmart sucks. So he's trying to teach him about jokes. And
that's a joke. I thought he was serious.
But basically, Charlie is going to return back. The doctor said, this is for the best for both of you. So Charlie's walking Raymond to the train. He's talking. He gives him his backpack back with all his supplies. And they're talking about visiting. And he's like, Raymond, how many hours, he was going to come out in 2 weeks to see him and that they're not going to be apart. But he's going to, wants to be active in his life. Well, it's like at one point Raymond kind of walks away when Charlie's still talking to him. But he kind of comes back to and says, okay, we'll see you. And that's kind of how it ends. So we kind of go to the end and with the credits. That's why I mentioned about the pictures. Like Raymond was taking pictures throughout. It's like they were showing the pictures in the credits. So overall, I loved this movie. I felt both actors did an amazing job in their respective roles. I mean, Dustin Hoffman, he really portrayed a lot of the characteristics of autism. I guess is the best way to put it. Not that I'm saying everything is typical, but he did an amazing job in that role.
Know.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I said, I mentioned when we recorded this before that I don't think I could have appreciated this movie as much if I would have watched it in '88 when it came out. Like, I think now with me being older, having worked with autism and in the field for many years, it was just watching it. It was like, wow, this was a pretty accurate portrayal. I mean, the routines, the rituals, the not understanding relationships, he gets good with numbers, but he's going to pay $100 for a candy bar. Yeah, that's
$100 for a car.
Yeah, I'm like, that's all stuff I have seen and more over my years in the field. That's why I thought it was just, he did an absolutely amazing portrayal. And even Tom Cruise, even though his brother would, he was acting the way it is, but I've seen that with families. Like, they're just so frustrated because it's like they want to reach this family member, but they can't. And it's kind of sometimes hard to understand, like, why. And some people get very frustrated with it. But I think, now there's so much more research and everything that, people are better educated and understanding and everything like that. So
could this be remade now?
I don't know, because I don't know who they would get in the roles or anything like that. Like, I don't
get them again.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe a sequel, like what's happening now, like 31 years later.
That would be interesting.
Just to see. But I mean, I think Dustin Hoffman's character was supposed to be like in his 40s or something when this was made, because he was like 18 or 20 years older than Tom Cruise's character, Charlie. So, I mean, I don't know if it's a movie that could be really remade today. I don't think it could.
Most remakes are horrible.
Well, that's just it. I don't think it would have the charm or whatever you want to call it. I don't think
a sequel would be good. If you get both of them back.
Yeah, it could be different. I think if they would both be willing to come back and do it, be kind of curious to see, okay, where are they at? Like I said, 30-some years later with everything. So, I don't know. I don't think it could be remade. I will be watching this again. Like I said, I know there's probably some stuff I totally missed in this review, and I apologize.
Rewatch value.
Yeah, definite rewatch value and that. So thank you, Marty and friend, for sending. I apologize I'm not holding the movie up because it's put away because my computer's stupid. But anyways.
Yes, it is.
So please remember to like, comment, subscribe, bell icon so you know when we post new content. Help share the page. We would greatly appreciate it. Also, check out my other channel, K-Doll Games, Toys, and More for game and video game reviews. I have the hiccups coming on. I can't remember what else I say.
I think we're good.
I think we're good.
Thanks for watching.
We're doing a lot of filming today, so my mind's out of it. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.